Hello and welcome back, you lovely faces, to another video here on the channel. We have a couple of videos for you lovely people today, and let's just say some of them are quite sweet. Mostly because we're going to be looking at the recently filed documentation from Johnny Depp and his team regarding the settlement and everything that's gone by. You know, the motions that he has filed to get documentation from from Ahyoka and a host of other people. So let's get into it. So this has come from Laura. If you don't follow Laura, guys, please go and follow her. She's the one who gets all these information and all the documentation before anyone else, and she is just amazing. And this was last night. Update: Johnny Depp v. Johnny has filed another motion to compel for further answers and documents relative to her counterclaim. And then number 2 of 2, last page, the question and answers are included as exhibits. So this is the first one that we had. The entire document is available. It is over 130 pages long. I will leave that link below if you would like to go through it yourselves. But this is what we have. In her responses to Mr. Depp's fourth request for production, FRP, has taken positions that are entirely indefensible in an improper attempt to stonewall basic discovery. For instance, asserted blanket objections to requests that merely asked for communications regarding her own claims to have been all of this by Mr. Depp, the central issue in this case. The deficiencies in AH's responses include the following. Asserted blank objections to clearly appropriate requests. She included improper limiting language that will drastically and impermissibly narrow the scope of any production. Number 3, she has produced no documents. Mr. Depp respectfully requests that the court order to provide supplemental responses without objections, remove her improper limiting language, and immediately produce documents. Mr. Depp also requests that be sanctioned. And with that, ladies and gentlemen, we saw what he was asking to give. And, well, they were all a doozy. They were all just, like, exactly what they've asked for. But with her and her team saying, no, I'm not giving you anything, and they haven't given any documentation. And remember now, they had until, I believe it was the 12th of February, or the 11th, and Johnny's team had until today, the 18th, to actually go back and say, well, this is wrong, we want this. If she hasn't produced any documentation, well, that just goes against everything they said back in November, where, Jen Robinson, her lawyer, and a host of other people, oh, we have amazing evidence to give. Well, if you give this, where is it? They haven't even brought anything forward yet either, which is just amazing, because that shows that they are nothing but a bunch of liars. Number 1, improperly limits the scope of documents to be produced in responses to RFP numbers 9, 11 to 14, 16, 18, 20, 22, 24, 26, 28, and 29 through 33. In response to these ones, agreed to produce documents, but improperly limited the scope by stating that she would only produce non-privileged documents. In response to the request relevant to the statements at issue. In meet and confer discussions, appeared to take the position that she only needs to produce documents that specifically relate to the 3 alleged statements by Mr. Depp's personal attorney, Adam Waldman, that form the basis of the remaining portion of her surviving second counterclaim for defamation. Thus, for example, in response to RFP number 9, which seeks documents and communications that evidence or reflect the impact of any and all public statements by Adam Waldman on AH's reputation and or career, which they haven't. He's just put out things that is actual evidence, and people are like, yeah, she's not exactly a nice person now, is she? And she's like, oh, it's tarnished my career. No, you've done that yourself by lying. is evidently intends to withhold any documents that do not specifically relate to one of the 3 statements that survived Mr. Depp's plea in bar. In short, is attempting to withhold highly relevant documents For instance, a hypothetical document discussing the truth or falsity of an early statement by Mr. Waldman about AH or its effect on her reputation. It might be withheld on the spacious grounds that it does not specifically relate to one of the 3 specific statements that survived Mr. Depp's plea in bar. But such a document can nonetheless be highly relevant to issues such as the truth or falsity of Mr. Waldman's latest statements. Such a document can be critically relevant to a damage analysis to show that any alleged damages to AH's reputation were actually attributable to earlier statements that are now time-barred. The scope of discovery in Virginia is broad, and AH may not withhold relevant information to the subject of this action, based on a unilateral determination that they do not specifically relate to one of the 3 surviving statements in her counterclaim. You know what? It's just so good, isn't it? They're literally saying, Judge, come on, mate. Look at what she's doing. She's not giving any documentation that we've asked for that has gone through the courts. She has said a blanket no to everything. Then we got the number 2 one, improper limiting language in response to these numbers 2, 18 and 19. So, number 2 seeks documents reflecting acting projects for which AH was rejected from 2010 to present. This is essential to analysing AH's $100 million counterclaim, which is based on AH's contention that a handful of tweets by Adam Waldman caused $100 million in damages to her career. Well, with that, they haven't. This is just amazing because, first of all, she would never have made $100 million in the last decade. No one even knew of her before Aquaman. No one even knew her before this entire case came out in 2016. Not a lot of people did. So, how has she lost $100 million? To be honest with you, what has anyone actually heard of that she's been up for? Anyone? She was cast in the Zack Snyder's Justice League and everything else, just based on her look. Adam Waldman has not damaged anything of her. She should never have lied in the first place. Lying, and then she's been caught, that's why she's like, oh my god, I'll counterclaim for $100 million saying that they've defamed me, my career's gone. You're the one who got rid of Johnny Depp from Pirates of the Caribbean and Fantastic Beasts. You said that everyone wanted you. No, they don't. People are just making up now tons of rumours, and most of it has come from her PR people. She's going to be in Marvel. She's going to be in Disney. No, that's not going to happen. So then it goes on. The state of Miss Heard's career prior to April 8th, 2020 is relevant to evaluating the impact, if any, of any, tweets by Mr. Waldman. If AH was frequently rejected for acting jobs prior to April 8th, 2020, that would undermine any claim that subsequent rejections are attributable to Mr. Waldman's tweets. Indeed, no damages analysis can be conducted without such information. Number 18 seeks drafts of Miss Heard's op-ed in the Washington Post, which forms the basis of Mr. Depp's complaint for defamation. Miss Heard's response limits the scope of production to non-privileged drafts. But Miss Heard asserted a defence of advice of counsel in a 4th affirmative defence in her answer. Defendant relied upon counsel in writing and publishing the op-ed, which is what they want, which waives the privilege. Having asserted a defence that she relied on counsel in drafting the op-ed, Miss Heard cannot withhold drafts of the op-ed on privilege grounds. Number 19 seeks documents and communications regarding the op-ed in the Washington Post that forms the basis of Mr. Depp's complaint in this action. The request clearly seeks directly relevant, discoverable information. Incredibly, AH, or Miss Heard, again, I'm going back and forth between them guys, only agreed to produce drafts of the op-ed, but no communications or other documents. I wonder what's in those documents and the other, the production drafts. I wonder if they changed anything. Miss Heard's document production is long overdue. Sorry guys, that was it, January the 19th. So it wasn't to February 12th, like I said at the beginning. What it was, her documents were due on January the 19th, 2021. No documents have been produced. The parties are in the midst of depositions and the discovery cutoff is a bare 2 months away. Immediate production should be ordered. And with that one there, again, so it was today where Johnny Depp's team had until this time to reply, and obviously, so it was a month. Yeah, it would have been a couple of days, my mistake. Miss Heard refused outright to produce any documents in response to all these numbers. Her objections to the RFP set forth below should be overruled. Number 3 and 4 seek documents and contracts reflecting AH's compensation from professional projects, i.e. acting jobs. Mr. Depp cannot properly evaluate and present evidence as to whether Miss Heard's claim to have suffered $100 million in damages is plausible, without taking discovery as to her actual and projected income and career prospects. Yeah, she keeps saying that she's suffered $100 million in damages. Her net worth is $8 million. Did she think she was automatically, because she starred in the DC movie, she'd be able to command $20 to $30 million a film, like Sandra Bullock and everyone else? No, because she cannot act. She is not a star name. I'm telling you, man, this girl, she's on fucking Pluto. And then it goes on to, number 5, 6, 7, 8, 10. Oh, no, number 9. Now to me, a good roll. Seek documents reflecting the impact of the Depp-Heard relationship, the parties' divorce, subsequent litigation, and Miss Heard's public allegations against Mr. Depp on Miss Heard's reputation and career. By asserting a $100 million counterclaim for defamation, she has put her reputation directly at issue. Mr. Depp is entitled to explore the relative impact of each of these events on her career and reputation. For instance, documents suggest that Miss Heard's career was damaged more by the party's widely publicised litigation and by a few tweets from Mr. Walden. The fact would be relevant to challenge her claimed damages. Mr. Depp also contends that Miss Heard manipulated the public and the press to falsely portray herself as a heroic survivor, which she has, because everyone's like, oh no, poor Amber. Then the real evidence came out, everyone's like, oh my god, what the hell is this woman on? The fact, so it's going on there, which is actually really, really good to see that. So, in part to burnish her reputation and raise her profile, and is entitled to seek discovery to support that contention. Number 15, seeks documents related to all of this restraining orders sought by her when the parties divorced, in which Miss Heard publicly alleged in court filings that she had been nissed by Mr. Depp. And it goes on from there, so obviously it's got a few things in there I'm not going to go over. But like I said, guys, the actual link for the full documentation is below. And then obviously the bottom ones, 17, 21, 23, 25 and 27 seek documents related to any contention that Miss Heard suffered damages as a result of statements by Johnny and Mr. Waldman. And just with them there, it makes you think, it's like, what the hell is wrong with this person? Well, we all know she's nuts and she's a few sandwiches short of a picnic, but the way she has gone about it and the way she's just trying to make people feel, you should feel bad for me. You should feel guilty because of this. And it's like, actually, no, darling. We have seen exactly what you're like. We have heard from your mouth that you were the aggressor. But again, though, you still got some people, again, on Twitter, which for some unknown reason, they always seem to be this type. They come onto anyone's feed, they start saying, oh, well, Johnny Depp's this, Johnny Depp's that, and it's like, whoa, okay, people try to educate them, then automatically the AH fans, they start typing in capitals like they're screaming at you. Like what you keep on saying, they block you. Then behind that block wall, they start saying, oh, they done him, yeah, oh, I said this to him, I said that to him, I wiped the floor with him. No, you never. You got your panties in a twist and you blocked everyone and you ran off like a little girl. But again, no, this is what they like to do. And as you can see by here, obviously, says Laura, 202, the last page, the questions and answers are included as exhibits. And this is just the best one. They are claiming she has produced no documents so far regarding this request. And with that, if you actually think about it, that is very, very dangerous. Because obviously, with her not producing any documents now, and it's exactly 1 month, 1 month tomorrow, give or take. And they haven't produced any documentation. We've also got Io Tillett said, I haven't been subpoenaed. Even though, he was saying, oh, they dropped it here, or they spoke to this person. It's like, guys, come on. No one's that dumb. You are so stupid you really think lying about this is going to help you as well. But it's not. But before we end up this video, ladies and gentlemen, I want to point you to this tweet by QWERTY, which is absolutely amazing. Where is it, Mark? And it's about, seeks non-privileged communications regarding the last page. So her claims of all of this, any communications regarding her claims of this are discoverable. Quite frankly, any such document should have been produced years ago. Astoundingly, Miss Heard served blanket boilerplate objections and refused to produce anything. And what she is saying is, where is it, Mark? Is Mark Stevens, who is the guy who is actually really, really good friends with the judge, his family, AH, and everyone involved. And, Amber Heard promises to reveal bombshell new evidence about Johnny Depp and US case. Well, where is it? And as you can see, ladies and gentlemen, people are actually in the messages asking, well, where is it? We're 4 months gone. Come on, produce it. And they haven't produced anything. And I just think that's amazing. I do apologise for the length of this video, guys, but if you are new to the channel, please like and subscribe, hit that notification bell for future updates, and I'll see each and every one of you soon.